Hello adventurers and welcome to another Dragon and Home video. Today, I'll be covering the City of Sand Mystery Realm Hard Mode. This guide will discuss preparation, loot, general enemies, and the Minotaur Berserker boss fight. First, let's take a look at the entrance location. The green portal stone can be found on the left side of Breeze Plain at coordinates 1322, 3392. You can also set a guidance marker. To do so, open your map, open the guidance menu, select Special, and select City of Sand. Hard mode can be completed with 1 to 5 party members. I recommend at least 1 tank and 1 healer at minimum. You must be at least level 12 to enter. It costs 10 vigor to enter and 50 vigor to loot the boss chest. In order to enter the Mystery Realm, however, you will need at least 60 vigor total on your character. You will have 1 hour to complete the Mystery Realm. For the boss fight, wear chest armor with the water attribute. Avoid wearing chest armor with the thunder attribute. Use weapons with the water attribute and avoid weapons with the thunder attribute. If you have purple quality gear with inlay slots, use the Goblin Foreman Soulstone to increase fire defense by 30%. Possible armor drops are iron gauntlets, iron helmet, or iron war boots of either blue or purple quality. You may also earn tutorials for the medieval altar stand, medieval wind vane, Mediterranean double bed, Mediterranean sofa, Yamato soup house onsen long stool, Yamato soup house shower curtains 1, Yamato pendant rack 2, Yamato pendant rack 3, Yamato desk, Tang style double bed, Tang style calligraphic 4, Tang style yard stone stool, or Tang style yard vase. Finally, you might even get fine white sand, arcane slate stone, or arcane crystal. These are materials that can only be obtained from the Minotaur Berserker and can be used to craft purple quality furniture items. Now, let's head into the Mystery Realm. The first area requires players to ascend the side of a cliff to access the City of Sand. Enemies start out at level 12. The first group of enemies includes 2 foxes, an elite fox, a shroomer, and an elite shroomer. The second group of enemies includes 2 wild boars, a tricky oddbird, and an elite tricky oddbird. The third group of enemies includes a fox, a shroomer, an elite tricky oddbird, and an elite wild boar. The fourth group of enemies includes a wild boar, a shroomer, and a tricky oddbird. As you approach the city gates, you will start a 3-wave fight. In the first wave, you'll fight 2 tricky oddbirds and an elite tricky oddbird. In the second wave, you will fight 2 yaks and an elite yak. In the third wave, you will fight 2 goblin assassins, 2 wild boars, and an elite wild boar. After clearing 3 waves, the gates will open. Enemies will now be level 14. Enter the city, making sure to avoid traps. In the main hall, you will need to defeat a wild boar and an elite shroomer. This main hall connects to 3 rooms where we will need to defeat waves of enemies to activate wells in order to progress beyond the next set of gates. In this run, we will backtrack to the left side of the hall leading to the first room. In this hall, we will defeat a wild boar, goblin miner, and a goblin assassin. Activate the well in the first room to begin this 3-wave fight. In the first wave, you will encounter 2 yaks and 2 tricky oddbirds. In wave 2, you will encounter 2 wild boars, an elite wild boar, and an elite shroomer. In wave 3, you will encounter 2 goblin miners, a goblin assassin, and a goblin foreman. Return back the same hallway we came through and enter the first room on the right. Activate the well in this second room to begin this 3-wave fight. In the first wave, you will encounter a shroomer, a wild boar, a fox, and an elite fox. In wave 2, you will encounter a tricky oddbird, a wild boar, an elite tricky oddbird, and an elite wild boar. In wave 3, you will encounter a tricky oddbird, a goblin miner, an elite goblin miner, and an elite goblin foreman. Progress through the doors and roll through the arrow trap. Activate the well in the third room to begin this 3-wave fight. In the first wave, you'll encounter Mudrot, a shroomer, an elite Mudrot, and an elite shroomer. In wave 2, you will encounter Wild Boar, a tricky oddbird, Yak, and an elite Yak. In wave 3, you will encounter a Goblin Foreman, a Goblin Miner, and 2 Goblin Assassins. After the third well, return to the main hall and proceed past the back gates. Climb up to the right side and jump across to the left. Approach the moving platforms and ride one across to the other side. Continue forward, jumping across holes in your way. You'll reach a set of arrow traps. To avoid these traps, get close enough to trigger them before crossing, or use a mount to quickly pass by without taking damage. Next, you'll reach spike traps across the floor. Time your movement between the spikes to reach the other side. Jump up to the right and across to the next level. Open the door and make sure everyone enters the room. Pressing the button in the middle of the room starts a 4-wave fight. Enemies are now level 16. In the first wave, you'll fight 3 yaks. In the second wave, you will fight 2 wild boars and 2 tricky oddbirds. In the third wave, you will fight 2 goblin assassins, a goblin miner, and a goblin foreman. In the fourth wave, you will fight a goblin assassin, a goblin foreman, a goblin miner, an elite goblin miner, and an elite shroomer. After these enemies, the door forward will open. At the top of the stairs, you will encounter an elite mud rot on the left and an elite shroomer on the right. Also in this room is a shroomer, an elite tricky oddbird, and an elite wild boar. When crossing under the chandeliers, roll or sprint to avoid being hit and taking a lot of damage. On the left, exit through the opening and turn left. You'll find a small opening leading to an elevator. Wait for the elevator platform or you will fall into a spike trap and certain death. Ride this elevator to the terrace. On the far side of the terrace is another button that will start a 2-wave fight. The first wave includes 2 goblin assassins, a goblin foreman, a goblin miner, an elite tricky oddbird, and an elite shroomer. The second wave includes an elite shroomer, a goblin assassin, a goblin miner, a goblin foreman, an elite yak, and an elite wild boar. Upon completion, open the door on the far end to proceed toward the final boss. To reach the Minotaur Berserker, you will need to jump across platforms and pillars to reach the arena. You can easily jump these platforms by sprint jumping, using a kite, or using a mount. At the final pillar, climb to the top and then cross the wooden bridge. Time to prepare for the boss fight. The Minotaur Berserker has several attacks. It will swing its axes as its basic attack. It can also rapid strike, swinging its axe 3 times in quick succession. Be careful of its axe slam, which hits the player in front of the boss and any players in a direct line behind this player. The boss will shout from time to time, putting the hamstring debuff on close players, giving them minus 30% movement speed for 8 seconds. When the boss crouches and shakes, it will leap at a player after a couple of seconds. This attack can be dodged by rolling out of the way. Finally, stay alert for the boss's charge attack. The boss will lower its head, open its arms outward, and then charge at the player. This charge should be avoided by rolling out of the way, or you will take a lot of damage and be knocked back. The strategy to this fight is simple. One player will tank the boss, holding the aggro. Other players need to stand to the side of the boss or behind the boss to avoid attacks. Damage the boss and keep an eye out for both the crouching animation for the leap and the lowered head animation for the charge. Defeating the boss will spawn the loot chest. Exit by interacting with the green portal. I hope the information in this guide is helpful, and stay tuned for the Ancient Temple Normal Mode guide, as well as guides for other mystery realms. Please consider leaving a like and comment, as well as becoming a subscriber. It's absolutely free, and you can change your mind later. Don't forget to check out my Twitch channel where I answer questions live and host events and giveaways. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.